Welcome to today's WordPress Means Business Bite-Sized webinar. Today we're going to look at some WordPress secrets, some little things that you may not have noticed or you may not be really aware of that can save you some heartache and a bit of time. So let's have a look. Okay, so here I am on my little demo blog. The first thing that you may or may not have, depending on whether you've got the setting turned on or not, is the admin bar that appears across the top. To get that turned on, if you haven't got it, and it's really useful, you need to go to the dashboard and pick Edit My Profile. And there's an option here saying Show Toolbar when viewing the site. You need to have that ticked on. And then when you're actually looking at the site and you're logged in as the administrator, you'll get this handy little toolbar on the top. There are some additions, little plugins that you can add that add in extra shortcuts to different places and pages. And if you've got things like WooCommerce installed, there's a great plugin that takes you straight into your products, categories, and so on. The most handy thing, though, is the fact that you can basically browse around the site. Let's pick a different page. Yep, there's a sample page. You can click Edit Page, and it'll take you off to editing that page, so you don't have to find it in the list. Same with posts. You'll see there's a post and it has an edit post button. If you go to the category, you'll see it has an edit category page. If you're in a shopping cart, you could go to the product, go down to the product level, and again you'd have an edit product. So it just makes it very easy for you to be browsing the site and just change something quickly. So that's the first little tip of the day. So the next one, this is something that appears all over the place. There's two little tabs up here. Firstly, we're going to have a look at Help. That does give you some additional information about the page that you're on. That's certainly worth browsing around. But the more interesting one for me is this Screen Options, which will be different on every page. But it gives you a number of different things that are normally kind of hidden away. And sometimes you won't, you'll be trying to do something and it'll be hidden because of this. So in the case of your dashboard, this tells you which bits on here, these little things, little dashboard widgets, which actually appear. So if you want to have the welcome page, your recent drafts, other news, you can decide what it is that you actually have displaying on this page. So you may not want to know about new plugins that come on. You might not know about recent links. So that's certainly worth doing. You can also change the number of columns. So you can drag these around to put them in a different order if you so desire. Really kind of useful to allow you to design your own little dashboard, but it goes a bit further than that. Just take, for example, if you're looking at all the pages on the site. So in this case, we've got quite a few pages on the site. If you go to Screen Options, you've got an option of how many you actually show at a time. So at the moment, we've got 2 pages because we've got 28 items. So I could change this to 30. And now I'll just have it all on one page. The other thing you can do is you can decide which of the different things you actually display. So you might not want to show the comments, but you might want to show the date. That all works interactively. That Screen Options does appear in posts, pages. You've got the same thing there. In categories, if you looked at categories, you'd have the same kind of thing there as well. So again, you can decide how many you see and what you actually see on this list. If you're in a shopping site using WooCommerce, same kind of thing applies for your product lists and your category lists for that. So that's something you certainly need to be aware of. If we go back and have a look at editing a post or a page, the other thing to be aware of is that all the boxes that you have here, so the same thing, you have another little list of what you can actually see. So there are things that you may well have turned off. So you may not be looking at so the discussion options. So that's this one down here that says whether somebody can comment or not. So if you need to turn off commenting on a particular page, you need to be able to see this little tab. Otherwise, you won't be able to do anything with it. So if that's turned off, it's not there. You can't do anything with it. Same with revisions. That's quite handy if you want to go back in time. Every time you save a page or a post, it will create a revision, and you can go back and compare between old ones. Same kind of principle as the dashboard, you can drag and drop these things around. So if there's something that's not, that you need but needs to be out of the way, the excerpt is quite often turned off as well. That's one where you can put a short description that appears with you may well get that on your blog posts. You may well have a blog page that shows just the excerpts. If you don't fill that in, it will try and take it from the main content, but that gives you control over it. But if you haven't got that option turned on, you'll never know about it. Again, if you've got multiple authors on your site, you can change who the author is, but that often is turned off. So you need to have a little experiment and see what these different things do. And you can do exactly the same as the dashboard. You can drag and drop and put them in different orders. But the order is based on you as a user. So if somebody else logs in with a different username, their order will be different and their screen options will be different. And again, you've got help, which is context sensitive. So that's going to talk to you about the different things on the post editing, inserting media, and so on. The other place that it's useful is under menus. What you may find is that your menu or your theme in your menu is capable of doing a little bit more than you actually have got it to do. So again, under screen options, you've got some different categories and things that will get displayed on the actual pages, on the actual menu items themselves. So at the moment, they're quite bare. There are some menus and some themes that allow you to put a description in. So that appears as your title for the menu item and a little tiny description in smaller font underneath. So that's where you would put it. You can do some menus have the ability to change the styles. So it might be that you want to highlight one particular thing, say your free items. You may want to make that into a different color, and there's a way of doing that using these classes. Again, that might well be built into your theme, but if it's not ticked up here, you won't be able to get to see it. The other things are what you're actually able to put on your menus. Again, you've got options here. You can decide that you want to put one of your posts onto a menu. So there it is. You may have categories, or if you're in a shop, you may well want to put the product categories. And again, it'll probably be ticked off unless you actually do something about it by turning these on here. So the top one here is what you're actually able to put into the menu, and the one underneath this is what actually is in the menu. So some of those are quite advanced stuff, but so you can do things, for example, with that link target, you can say open in a new window. So there's quite a lot that you can do on that you probably just don't realize that you can do. Let's have a little look in the plugin section. And again, you'll find it has a very similar kind of thing. There's a screen options, and you can decide how many you see. That may well be quite small, or it may well have been defaulted to something large, depending on how your setup is. And if you've got extra plugins that change this list, you'll again have things that you can change here. So it's worth just generally having a little look under a little hidden thing called screen options. So thank you for attending the WordPress Secrets webinar. I look forward to seeing you in another bite-sized webinar. Please sign up for the schedule at wpmeansbusiness.com, and we'll mail it out to you what the different webinars are that we're running each week. I look forward to seeing you on another webinar.